Hello to all of my BPTV friends, YouTube friends, Facebook friends. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm here to do my 90th Talking Machine show. I have another great guest. Will you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Safranco. I'm a development manager with the Alzheimer's Association Greater Pennsylvania chapter.
And normally I don't have friends and associates on here, but he's one of them that made the cut. He's helped me with my Alzheimer's Talking Machine telethon the last 3 years. He's been a great guest, and with all the brochures and everything, we're keeping it simple. We're just going to talk about, I honored my mother doing it, so he's here to help me honor my mother and save other people's lives and get them help and information that can help their families when they go through it. My 3 sisters and I and dad and family, it was just a brutal 6 years, and she died at 55 years old back in August 17th, 1988. So where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? I am from out in Westmoreland County, down in Mount Pleasant.
I know the area a little bit.
Yes, we've talked about that, yeah.
Yes.
But was born and raised there, still in the area. And
Where'd you go to school?
went to Mount Pleasant Area High School, graduated in 2011.
Okay.
And then I proceeded for a college degree at Slippery Rock University.
Couple questions. Did you like school?
I did like school.
What was your best subject?
Math, actually.
I like that.
Yeah, so
Definitely. And you wanted to go to college then?
I did. I wanted to go to college, and I wanted to actually pursue a math degree. When I went to Slippery
Wow.
Rock, I started off by declaring a math degree there.
Right.
And then through my time there, I had an opportunity to do what was called an international care break. So we partnered
Never
with...
heard of that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
it's
amazing.
Something a little special that Slippery Rock does. They do care breaks all over, but it was one of the first times they
Right.
did an international one. So they partnered with Amazaji, which is a Pittsburgh-based nonprofit organization that focuses on global service learning.
Okay.
So
That's pretty darn broad. I was saying,
It
what
is.
country did you learn about? You got the world, the whole world.
I do love the whole world, but for that trip, I had an opportunity to take a week down in Jamaica. So
Great.
we traveled down to Jamaica. We lived with a family in their house, and we did things like tutoring school children, painting some of the school
How cool
buildings.
is that?
It was an incredible experience.
And the nice thing that I know is from going to Mexico and even Jamaica and other countries, they're third world nations. We don't realize how great, and let me emphasize great, we have it even in these crazy times, right?
Right.
What did you see?
It was
some of it.
Yeah, it was a very unique experience. So we got to see some of the tourist attractions. We saw Montego Bay. We saw
Yeah.
Negril. We went to a place called Rick's Cafe where you had the opportunity to go cliff jumping. They had a.
Did you do it?
I did. They had
Wow,
a
way to
cliff
go.
that was probably like 50, 60 feet, something like that.
Sure.
And you could jump into the water there, and then you had the
They
stairs
have
the whole
great
way
beaches.
back up.
The beaches are
Yeah, we got to go
unbelievable.
to a beach as well. But then for the actual service trip portion, we traveled inland to what was called Westmoreland Parish.
Oh, that's like your
we
hometown.
have, yeah, so we have Westmoreland County. They had Westmoreland Parish.
Okay.
And then we were in 2 towns, Petersfield and Galloway. And within those towns, like I said, I got to live with a family. We walked to the school buildings.
What do they do for breakfast?
Oh, gosh, the food was incredible. It was mostly home cooked meal because the house mother that we had, her name was Norma Fenton, and she was able
Nice.
to provide for us. So breakfast, breakfast and dinners usually were fresh squeezed juices, I guess I should say.
Right.
Different. Just different grains and stuff. It wasn't too different from what we're used to, but it wasn't the sugary cereal or something like
Well,
that.
it's not all the pre-made stuff.
Correct. Yeah,
And
it was
you're getting stuff
very
out
fresh.
of the fields, animals, they might be killing them right next door to you.
Yeah, the
They might
chickens
get a
running
chicken.
around were probably dinner, but
Yeah.
the jerk chicken that they made and the different chicken dishes that they had,
Do you
they
like
were
spicy
incredible.
food?
I do. I like spicy
Me
food,
too.
and they were.
I'm not a Pittsburgh guy that goes, that's too spicy.
Yeah.
I go, can you kick it up a notch?
Oh yeah, and it was so good, and like we even had experiences where one night they did like a cooking demonstration for us and showed us how to prepare.
What did
I
they
forget
prepare?
I
Okay.
forget what they made, but
You
they
know
were.
I was gonna ask.
I know. I try to get ahead of you.
I know.
But they did 2 different dishes, and afterwards we were just hanging out in like the field space that was there. And one of the people that we were with, they went into the field and came back and had raw sugar cane that they started passing around for
Wow,
everyone
I've
to
heard
try.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really sweet, both literally and
Very
figuratively.
apropos. Yeah.
Yes. So it had some fresh raw sugar cane.
How did
It
that
was great.
taste?
It was more potent than you would expect. Like you
get a
think
burst.
of because you think of sugarcane and the
stalks.
the stock that they're stalks, but the actual juice from it is more powerful than you would expect because we have sugarcane syrup and stuff, and you
And
have
it's
this
processed,
expectation.
yeah.
Like you said, it's processed, but there it's fresh, and you have the sugarcane in your mouth, and it's like you said, it's a stalk. So once you get the juice out of it, you just spit the stalk out, and that was it.
Wow.
It was incredible.
So that was great. I hate to ask, what was lunch then? Similar?
Lunch was different because
Or
we
did you
were
do
often
3 meals or 2 meals?
We
or-
did 3 meals a day, but lunch was a little bit later because we were out volunteering either in the school or
You had
somewhere.
stuff to do, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're learning
So
too.
They had done like sandwiches, like pre-made stuff for us, sandwiches, fruits,
Right.
stuff like that. We got to try star fruit as well, so
Yeah,
that
I've
was
had it
a fun
before.
experience.
Do they have bread or do they have like tortillas and
Yeah,
things
they
like-
had bread for their sandwiches, and
I just wondered, yeah.
I forget what was on it, but like
You don't
some
have to
sort
give me
of
every
meat,
detail.
Yeah.
General. We're going general.
Yeah,
here.
no, but it was good. And then the dinners there, like I said, it was jerk chicken and different Jamaican recipes, Jamaican specialties, I guess I should
There's
say.
rice and other veggies.
Yes, lots of rice, lots of veggies, lots of cucumber. They did a fresh
Cucumber's
cucumber
very
juice.
healthy. That's a health tip.
Yeah, they did a fresh cucumber juice one day, and it was my absolute favorite. And
No way.
coming
And you
back,
never had it before.
No. And coming back, I was like, I want that cucumber juice. And fun tip for people, if you try the cucumber lime Gatorade,
Yeah.
it tastes pretty similar to fresh squeezed
You
cucumber
got the
juice in
tip
Jamaica.
here on the 90th Talking Machine show.
Absolutely.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's great. So you come back from there, and were you still going to be involved with math, or did your mind get opened and you're going to try something else?
Yeah, so that was kind of an opening opportunity for
I
me.
thought it might be.
Because the girl that organized the trip, she was a student and got a faculty advisor there involved as well. But she was a math major as well and had
wow.
a second degree in professional studies nonprofit management.
No way.
Yeah.
So guess who followed?
That was me, and I didn't realize it was a major opportunity at Slippery Rock until then. So I pursued that as a second degree. I kept the mathematics, and then the rest
Did
is
you
history.
get a degree in math then?
I did, yes.
And then you got this new degree, which could give you a career, right?
Yeah, it would
so
help
you were
within the
looking
nonprofit
at doing
sector.
something in the future in that,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know really what I wanted to do growing up. I liked math, so I said, let's start there and kind of figure out where to go.
Right.
But then this trip and the opportunities within the nonprofit sector, it made me realize that it was a true profession and an
Well,
opportunity
you're in
to
your
work
late
for as
teenage
well.
years and early 20s,
Yeah.
and there's a big difference
Yes.
from when you're 16.
Yeah, you try to make these big life decisions at a young age. It doesn't feel like it at that point
Right.
in time. You feel like old and mature and everything, but to set up your entire future at 19, 20 years old, it's a lot different looking back at it now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can reminisce.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, that's good. Well, then they help you to get jobs. What did they do next? Because I know my daughter went to Penn State, and, they're a great alumni group. And,
Yeah, so
and Slippery Rock's good. Friends and family have gone to Slippery Rock, so I know that.
Yeah, they have a great career center too, so they really helped with resume building and some basic interview questions and stuff to help
You need to
prepare
know
you for
that,
the future.
yeah.
So they helped with that, and then out of school, I started applying for jobs and stuff, and I actually found an opportunity that kind of checked off all the boxes.
Get
It
out.
was in my major by working for a nonprofit.
Yeah.
It was close to home. It was what I wanted to do. Like, it was kind of a perfect scenario, and it only took about 2 months after graduation to find an opportunity. So
And what was it?
it was working with the American Cancer Society, actually.
Wow, what a way to start.
Yeah.
And cancer's so horrific.
It is.
My girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, died 11 years ago of cancer.
Yeah,
and I lost an aunt, so
a lot
everybody
of family
has
members,
stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And with me, it was something I was passionate about. I actually grew up doing the Relay for Life quite a bit.
Oh, get on.
with one of our local businesses in town in Mount Pleasant, getting
Yeah.
involved with them.
You can name the business.
It was called Sub and Pub. It was a restaurant back in the day.
There you go.
And so I supported their team. My mom even did it through work. She worked with PennDOT, so she was involved in a Relay for Life, and I kind of got exposed there. So it was kind of a
No,
full
that's
circle
good.
moment being able to do that volunteer experience and
Right.
then working for the American Cancer Society.
No, you
that
covered-
was my
you
job.
covered
I
a
actually
couple things.
did the relay.
And I have a family-friendly show. Do you want to shout out the family? And are you married? Do you have a child? Do you have any of those things?
Sure. I am single, no significant other, no child. But my mom, Donna, she was the one that started with PennDOT and had gotten involved with the Relay for Life there.
Okay.
And then my dad, Jeff Safranco, was great and a big
My
supporter of
best
mine as well.
regards to him. I know he passed away,
Yes.
2 years ago? Or?
No, just this past January, actually, just this
Okay,
year.
I was trying to put it in perspective. But,
Yeah.
No, it's so sad. I saw what a good man he was, and he had to be to bring up a good son. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have an older brother,
Okay.
Brandon.
All right.
He's also been a big support of mine and I of his, and you know we're a close family, so it's great to have not just a close family in general, but a
Yeah.
close family that supports one another with everything that we do.
Oh, yeah, we all go through all kind of things, so I understand that. No, thanks for sharing that. So how long were you there with the Cancer Society?
Yeah, I was with the American Cancer Society for a year and a half.
Okay.
And during that time, like I said, I managed some of the Relay for Life campaigns. And
You got right into it.
yeah, dived right in, whichever's
Yeah.
correct.
You dove right in.
Dove right in.
Well, then, with your experience, they were probably happy they had a go-getter like you.
Yeah, it was, I was preparing for it. I knew the events. I knew how it worked. So being
Sure.
able to connect with the volunteers and connect with the community supporters, it was a great experience to get started. And during that time, they actually restructured the organization.
Oh, wow. And it
so-
happens with nonprofits a
It
lot.
does.
We'll get into that later. So,
Yeah, no,
that's a segue, but later.
It does happen, but within that transition, they changed a lot of the structure of the organization, and it was great work for what they wanted to do for the future.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, though, because of the changes they were making, positions were eliminated, and mine was one of them. So
Okay, so you didn't want to leave, but you
No.
got kicked out.
Yeah, I would have loved to stay with them, and I still support them when I can. But
Of course.
with the structural changes and everything, they had to make the best business decisions. So I understand.
Well,
what
in
they
this
had to do.
day and age, people at young ages, I don't understand. I worked 36 years for a company. You guys change them every 3 times in 5 years usually. So, yeah.
Yeah, times have changed, that's for sure.
No, and I respect that. What were you looking for next then, Nathaniel?
Yeah, so I wanted to stay within the nonprofit sector. I didn't
You
really
found a
know
home.
where to go or what to do. So I was kind of feeling out what was out there, interviewing, applying, doing everything I can. And then in 2019, I found my way to the Alzheimer's Association.
Wow.
Yeah. So with that, I started.
That's 6 years now.
Yeah, it's been 6 years.
We got synchronicity. My kidney transplant was Friday the 13th of September 2019. So
Well,
it's
there we
6
go.
years on the 13th.
Yeah, and that's coming up for you
Yes,
in
it
just
is.
a couple
I
days.
got my appointment for the 6 years, then the 13th is a couple days later.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's
I'm
good.
glad you're doing well.
Me too. I'm truly blessed, and my son's doing well. He's on American Cruise Lines up in Plymouth Rock right now
Oh,
on the ocean.
nice.
So he's working hard there, like you do here.
Yeah.
So day one, you started Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so I started with the Alzheimer's Association. I was a walk manager, so I worked on our Walk to End Alzheimer's program.
Isn't one coming up?
Yeah, we are in our walk season right now.
Good segue.
Yes, it is. Our Walk to End Alzheimer's events take place in the fall, starting in September and run through October or into November. So we have them all across the country, all across the state, and here locally we have one happening in Pittsburgh on Saturday, October 18th. It'll be at Highmark Stadium in Station Square.
Great
so
venue.
if people, yes, we love the backdrop of the cityscape
The whole
there.
city. It
It's
makes,
going to be a wonderful experience. But it's a great opportunity for the community to come together, support one another in the fight against Alzheimer's and all other dementia. And the Pittsburgh Walk to End Alzheimer's is one of the largest in the country. Last year, in 2024, they were 26th out of over 600 events.
26.
And yes.
Guess what? You got to donate. I got the talking machine place to donate, but you can donate to Alzheimer's. What link do they go through for that?
Absolutely. So the easiest way is going to be to go to alz.org/walk. That'll take you to the Walk to End Alzheimer's website.
And I'm
you
old,
can
so
search.
repeat that again so they can take notes.
Sure. It is ALZ for Alzheimer's.org/walk. That'll
Thank
take you to our Walk to End Alzheimer's website. You can search for an event by zip code. So put in any Pittsburgh zip code. There's so many of them,
You
and you'll
can
be able
even
to find
search
us.
for, I don't get anything from it. It all goes to the Alzheimer's Association. You can check for the Talking Machine team.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so I don't
every
mind
donation
helping out.
helps.
And yeah, I do that each year, so
Yeah.
no doubt. No, it's a big event. And since we're talking Alzheimer's, can we get some basics where people can get help and information? Because back in the mid-'80s when my mother got sick, there was nothing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of progress since then, and there's still a lot more work in progress that needs
Sure.
to be made as well.
Well, people don't realize, and emotionally, my dad felt guilty that my mom was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And as a family, a younger family, I was 32 when she died, we were just lost that something happened to her.
Yeah. And what people don't realize, there's still these myths and misconceptions about the disease.
Debunk them.
The first one being that Alzheimer's is a form of dementia, which is truly a disease that attacks the brain,
Yeah.
that changes how people behave, talk, are able to function on the day-to-day. So dementia is kind of the overarching term for all cognitive impairment.
It would be like an
related
umbrella.
diseases. Yes. So dementia is the umbrella, and then there's Alzheimer's disease, which is the most common
Right.
form of dementia. It accounts for about 60 to 80% of all
It's that
dementia-related
high, yeah.
cases. But then there's also frontotemporal dementia, Lewy body dementia, vascular dementia, and so many more.
That's why you
that
didn't
make up a
need any
much po-
brochures. You can tell it, you can hear it, and
Yes.
things like that.
Yes,
Like
there's
Bruce
a-
Willis with the frontal temporal.
Frontotemporal dementia,
Yeah.
FTD. So yeah, and that's one of the other things is that unfortunately with him and some others, there are people that have been diagnosed and are sharing their stories, which
Yeah.
is great for awareness. We never want anyone to have to go through the disease, but by sharing their stories, they can educate people about the disease in their own way,
Sure.
connect people to resources, find information for people
Because
so they
there
know
is
they're not
help
alone.
out there. It's a hopeless situation where you hate to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't survive it and you get worse.
Right, and that's what we're trying to work on right now. So right now there's actually 2 federal FDA-approved drugs on the market
All right, lay
that
it on us.
treat the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. So it's just the one disease of dementia,
Right.
but they are proven to slow the progression of the disease.
Oh, really? That's
So that
great.
people have more time with their loved ones. They can hold on to their memories longer. It doesn't attack the brain as strongly. And some people have even been shown to improve their situation and really slow the
You're
progression
bringing
of the
back
disease
memories
down.
with me. With my mother, my sister was living at home, and my mother knew something was wrong. She was a voracious reader. She was holding a book upside down, and my younger sister, Hope, called me about that. And I just think she went through the stages so quickly. Within a couple years, she didn't talk anymore or couldn't eat. And there was no response for her for another couple years, and she died at 55. She went through the stages like you couldn't believe, because she must have been ill a few years before.
Yeah, and that's something else is that it is hard to diagnose. So diagnostics is something else that the Alzheimer's Association and researchers are working on. recently there has been a blood test that has been passed and proven to help diagnose
No, and that's
Alzheimer's
so
earlier.
great because again, it's sort of about my mother, but she was put in Western Psych. They thought she had depression, and I'll never forget going there because I'd visit her no matter what. And her last words were, "Alan, I shouldn't be here. I need help." She was doing coloring and things like that with other people, and they put her on meds for depression, antidepressant drugs. Nothing was helping her. She
Yeah.
was getting worse.
And
And UPMC back then was just getting into that in the 80s. So they called us in and said, she has Alzheimer's.
yeah, and for that time period in the 80s, it was still so new and so unknown.
Right.
So oftentimes the symptoms that people would exhibit that would be looked at as depression or anxiety or something else that was
Yeah, well,
more known.
They lump it together.
Yeah.
And when you're going to Western Psych, guess what? They're, no offense meant, but they're looking for those problems.
Right, right.
And this is more a body problem, an organ problem called the brain.
Yeah. It's a very complex issue, but with the diagnostics out there now, like I said, there's a blood test. There are, you can do a spinal tap, which is
Oh, wow.
a possibility. There are some base cognitive tests that doctors can perform as well to
I've
at
heard
least
that.
get a baseline knowledge of where someone's brain is at to be able to assess year after year with your checkups. So there's a lot of tools out there now that can assist in an earlier diagnosis so that if people want to look for treatment options or need the resources, they have the
Right.
time to do that.
Well, then we've talked about that, but then they've talked about with my mom cooking with aluminum pots and being sickly with allergy shots, getting mercury and shots and things, that could have affected her, and she was a sick woman her whole life. So her system was weakened. And is there still information like with aluminum and things like that being in the brain?
There is a possibility of that, but with the research and knowledge now, it's probably less of a fact, so to speak.
No, that's why I wanted
might
it
not
out
be
there.
it might not be entirely a myth, but there are things out there that, like that, that are not necessarily entirely truthful or entirely the cause of Alzheimer's.
Right.
Alzheimer's
Well, they didn't
and-
know. Look at what you learned. Look at with history and LIDAR, and ancient cities were in the Amazon.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
with the brain, look at how huge and vast it is.
Yeah. And,
No, that's
and-
why I wanted it out there, because I always wondered about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess who grew up eating food out of aluminum pots and pans?
Probably you.
Yes,
If I had to
and
guess.
my three sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and knock on wood, I'm still pretty sharp.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so-
And like I said, there's just a lot of those misconceptions that are out there. So being able to educate yourself
Thank
and
you.
figure
Thank you
out
for-
what is and what isn't a potential cause is very important as well.
Well, I try to eat healthy,
Mm-hmm.
so that can only help too.
It can, and that is one of the things that can really help out.
See, I was
is
trying
a
to
healthy
feed
diet.
you.
I know you always do. I pay attention for 'em.
I know, and that's good. So lay it on us with what people can do.
Yeah, so there are several things that you can do that are good for not just your brain health, but things that are good for your physical health
Yeah.
are often good for your brain health as well.
Sure.
So a healthy diet is one of them. There is research into the Mediterranean diet being really linked to a very brain healthy
Guess who
diet.
does that on the Speedy Gourmet with wild-caught fish, ancient grains, and Mediterranean vegetables?
Mm-hmm. That
and-
sounds
and virgin
delicious.
olive oil. It is. You can check out. I did 51 shows. Little self-promotion.
There we go.
But no, that's what I've been told. And one of the reasons why is when I had my kidney transplant, it's major surgery. They go, you got to change your diet. They said, Al, keep eating what you're eating.
There you go.
And I healed up within a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this can help you, what you're saying. Thanks for confirming it. I let you say it.
Yeah.
So I could back you up.
Absolutely. So, like I said, not just your physical health, though, but it's good for brain health. and there's other things as well. So staying active and learning things, whether it's through a classroom setting and you're educating yourself with continued education of some
How
sort.
about reading history every day?
Reading history, just staying engaged with the news, just learning anything can help. Practicing brain games like different puzzles and Sudoku.
Right.
Those things also can help your
Or
brain
even old
health as
school
well.
crossword puzzles and things like that.
Absolutely. Anything that you can do to keep active.
What about solitaire?
Solitaire is a great tool as well. It keeps your brain active.
Either
it keeps
with
it
cards
engaged.
or online.
Yes. Yeah. Both are great options.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
No, those are good things. So just be active mentally and physically.
Yes.
What about exercise?
Exercising is a great one as well. There was actually a recent study done, the U.S. Pointer study, that showed about intervention techniques to help slow the progression of disease.
Really?
And exercise was one of the measures there that really showed a positive impact. So getting consistent exercise
Do they
each
talk
week.
about walking and things like that too? And
Yeah, any form of exercise.
Okay.
So whether it's walking, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's, chair aerobics, anything helps in having
or
a
just getting up
consistent
and down
plan.
on the floor.
Yeah.
Get up again.
Doing gardening, things that are a little bit more intensive, but
Right.
that might be part of a normal day, can really help out.
Just stay active.
Yes, staying
And
active.
eat right.
Eating right, taking care of your cholesterol, not smoking, not drinking.
Yeah.
Again, the things that you hear about your physical health often support brain health as well.
Well, brain's part of the body. It's important.
Absolutely.
We need to keep that healthy there. Usually in the last 2 minutes of a show, you inspire me and you're one of my great guests. How would you advise somebody being in your situation, a young man not sure what you're going to do, and then look what you chose? How would you give them some wisdom here?
Oh gosh, wisdom coming from me is
Yes.
not something that I get asked for
Well,
often.
that's why I test people and I push the limits.
Yeah. So I would say just figuring out what you're passionate about and seeing what opportunities lie out there.
Okay.
For me, it was growing up, volunteering, community service, and I didn't realize that could be a profession as well.
No, and
so
that's
now
what
I'm
you
working.
surprised me. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry to
so-
interrupt you, but my thing is everybody has a story,
Absolutely.
and you have a good story.
Thank you.
So just follow that. And the other thing, he kept looking for what he should do.
Yes. Always looking for
And
different
then look,
options.
the carpet got pulled out of you.
Yeah, you never know what or
You
when
lost
will
your job.
happen. Yeah. But, I bounced back. I got into another organization, been here 6 years, and anything that I can do to help support others, no matter the mission, is a passion of mine. So whether it's here, there, or anywhere in between, being able to support a mission and support community members that need services or aid of some sort is what I'm kind of passionate
Your
about.
wisdom was perfect. How did they get a hold of you or the Alzheimer's Association?
Yeah, so for the Alzheimer's Association, the most important number is our helpline. It is available 24/7, and it's great for people that not only need information about the disease, but to find resources and get connected to their local events. That number is 800-272-3900, and before you say it, I'll say it again, 800-272-3900.
And thank you for watching. See you in 2 weeks.